Shalom Avocha. This shir should be dedicated for the Zchus, for Nishmas, for Shimshon, Chaim, Ben Rabbi Nachman Michol, Nachmeni. As we all know, the Machav is a big segula, segula for those who learn the Sefer, and this also it should tackle be big Zchus for Klalis for those who need segulas, and obviously I'm involved in the shir. Obviously, I'm looking for shidduch. And my name is Gavil Faivel Ben Chaya, and that's Hashem. And those who, Hashem. And also it should be a big zechus for also Ilu Nishmas for Rav Yosef Ben Aaron Nezri. Zatzal. There should be big Ilu Nishmas. I should only hear Yeshua's and Brochas, Yeshua's Tzlocha and everything. Hashem. And now I want to start actually before I start. I just want to say thank you very much for everyone who's joining on to the share, and who's able to make effort listening to my share, and please try and share it and subscribe it and share it to your family and your friends, maybe on the WhatsApp group or wherever you seeing me on. And before I start, I just want to say that I usually give a hashkafa. I try my best to give a hashkafa Zera Shimshon shir with a bit of lesson, but this week, this shir is more like halachic shir, which in the get to the Parshas I decided to do. And now I want to start. This week Parshas Ekev speaks about say v'chal in benching. Obviously say v'chal tavzvot bavachta. Yeah, and it's kamyon. Yeah, al over tzatoy shenosanoch, and the Gemara in Birchas in Perek Shloisha she'ochlu daf mem ches amud beis says that Rabbi Omer, Rabbi said bevachta zu Birchas hazoin. We darshan in the pasuk, which means which bechayev bracha achroina. Therefore, saying Rabbi said bevachta in the pasuk is Birchas hazoin, the first part of bench, of the Birchas HaMazon, and al-Ovetz is zu Birchas HaOvetz, is Birchas HaOvetz. That's it says. Tova is zu B'nei Yerushalayim. These are the three things of benching, which is a chiv duvaisa, and the bon adin, because the structure of Beitel adin hatova metiv. But etzem the ikad din of duvaisa is these three paragraphs of benching, which we dash from the pasuk, and Eini Ela Achva, we only teach us Achva, what is the Birchas HaMazon, which is after bracha, obviously, which we learn is Takot Devaisa from there. But when the fund of Minayin, from where do we know bracha Rishona? Where do we know bracha Rishona? Why do we know that bracha Rishona is a din to a bonon? But Chazal obviously have a smachta from the pasuk to tell us bracha Rishona. Therefore, the fund of Minayin, Tamaloima Asher Nosanoch, Misha Nosanocho. We learn that Nosanoch, like before eating it and before eating the food, it's straight away we should mention a bracha on the Rishona of Nosanoch. But when once we receive the thing what Hashem gave us, the food, we should straight away say a bracha before eating it and then eat it, and afterwards say bracha. This is where we know bracha Rishona. Ad kan b'gemor in brachos. But the Zera Shimshon also question, based obviously for the Gemara explaining the pasuk, asking on the pasuk, Yesh Makshim, Amai Behepech HaPasuk HaSeder. Why is the pasuk doing the opposite order? Betchila Havalei Lemichta Brocha, Shelefnecha Achkar Shelachveha. At the beginning, it mentioned Brocha, Shelefnecha, which is it should mention. Itaka should mention Brocha Lefnecha. And then afterwards, why is the pasuk saying bracha rishon, bracha achroina first, and then afterwards with all these things, Birchas hazon al-oretz, at hatova zu b'nei Yerushalayim, and then afterwards it says Asher Nosanok teach us which is the bracha rishona. It should mention, the pasuk should somehow mention bracha rishona first before the bracha achroina. It's hepech, it's the opposite way round. Ama mehepech pasuk haseder. That's what's the question of the Zera Shimshon. And Yesh Loiman, the Zera Shimshon is giving a bit of hakdama to answer the question why is the pasuk saying the opposite way round, bracha rishona at the end after bracha achroina. And I want to say, and the Zera Shimshon obviously saying in B'Shab, I want to say maybe Efsha, my own idea, my own pshat, maybe that because the pasuk want to tell us things which is a chiv dovaisa, which is brocha chavoina, which is chiv dovaisa of Birchas Hamazon, which is there's a chiv dovaisa. But that's what the pasuk telling us, want to tell us first. And afterwards, it's telling us the things which are not chiv dovaisa, esmachta, which Chazal. It's not. Maybe we want to show the chashivas. We want to mention the chashivas first, which is the chiv dovaisa of Birchas Hamazon. And afterwards, we mention Bloch Rishon, which is only a chiv dovabon for esmachta. Maybe that could be maybe a pshat in my own understanding in how it goes. But the Zera Shimshon obviously understood. No, I mean it's more better, even if it's to bon or dovaisa or esmachta. But it's more better to more looking at the seder. At first, the seder should be Birchas Bloch Rishon, and seder, even if it's to a bon esmachta in the pasuk should not. And then afterwards, it should mention seder B'achach Chavoin, obviously, which is dovaisa. That's why I have the Zera Shimshon understanding the question. At least the seder should be in order. And in order. Yesh loimat is to be shami the chala, and he brings in that Igmo Yushami Chala Tony, which taught about matzah gezula also vovechalim mishum betzea beuch niyat Hashem. The Gemara says, and it's a pasuk. The Gemara brought pasuk into Tehillim, David HaMelech. It just says matzah gezula also vovechalim mishum betzea beuch niyat Hashem. Meaning, a matzah gezula is stolen matzah. Obviously, which machayev you any lechem, which machayev you Birchas Hamazon. Then also vavachale, it's also to the vavach on it, which mishum betzeh, because he's gazela and beivach. When you bless him, something which is davar gazul, which was stolen, then it's needs Hashem. You're arguing Hashem. Therefore, it's taka also to say a bracha over something which needs Hashem to get angry, because it's bizarre to say a bracha on something which was stolen. Therefore, that's what the pasuk saying, and it's machlokes in the Gemara. What's the pasuk referring to? In which bracha is referring to, which is also to say bracha.